All right, sermon number 4, Cain and Abel. And as I always state, these sermons are just as much for me, maybe even more so, than anybody that actually watches these videos. He just causes me to slow down and pay attention to the things we tend to gloss over, because a lot of people have heard these stories many times over the course of their life, but he wants us to think about these things because they're all really important, especially about the fall of man and what happens after Adam and Eve with their children. So Cain murders Abel. Now Adam knew Eve, his wife, which means they conceived. She conceived and bore Cain. Cain's going to be the older one, and said, "I have acquired a man from the Lord." Then she bore again, this time brother Abel, and she acknowledges this is from God through Adam. 2 boys. Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. So Cain is a farmer, and Abel is a shepherd. Very important. And in the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought an offering of the fruit of the ground to the Lord. Abel also brought the firstborn of his flock and of their fat. And the Lord respected Abel and his offering, but he did not respect Cain and his offering. And Cain was very angry, and his countenance fell. So firstborn of his flock. We'll talk about Abel. Of course, when Christ comes, he's going to come as a lamb, and he's also a shepherd. The church is his flock. All your priests and pastors are going to follow this model. Of course, what shepherds, they bring the flock into new places to eat, and they keep wolves away, or predators, and they keep after the sheep because the sheep are very they can get into shenanigans really easily. So someone has to be keeping an eye out all the time. You make sure they get fed. The farmer, it doesn't say why God rejected his Cain's offering, but it does say that Cain, this upset him, and you can see it. So the Lord said to Cain, "Why are you angry, and why is your countenance fallen? If you do well, will you not be accepted? And if you don't do well, sin lies at the door, and its desire is for you, but you should rule over it." So the Lord once asked him a question, why are you angry? Jealousy, obviously, this is the first time jealousy enters into the human condition. And it's okay to be angry, it's just not okay to act on it. And you can see it in him. The body language, he's not upset with the results of this. But again, it doesn't say that God is going to punish him because he didn't accept his gift or his offering. But immediately jealousy sets in, and he says it's okay to be angry, you just need to rule over it, you need to resolve this. So the next thing, Cain talks with Abel, his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field, Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and killed him. So it doesn't say what they talked about. I imagine it was heated. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe he had this in his head. We have no idea what they said to each other. But he was looking for the opportunity, and when he thought he was alone with his brother, he killed him out of jealousy and contempt for God for the decision he made about these offerings. And then the Lord said to Cain, "Where is Abel, your brother?" Just like in the garden. He knew where Abel was. He just wanted the confession. So God is the judge, and he questions us, and then he passes judgment. He just wants to see if the honesty will be there. And of course, he lies. He says, I don't know. Not only does he lie, but he gets mouthy. Am I my brother's keeper? So his anger with God is still there, and even after this act, the first murder involves malice. It says, thou shalt not murder. That's why killing, God doesn't sin, but he orders the deaths of many people, and it's not done with malice. Murder is malice, intent, and this time it was in jealousy and rage and anger with God, anger with his brother. And he said, the voice of your brother's blood cries out from me from the ground. Now this guy's a farmer, so he knows about the ground. So now you're cursed from the earth, which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you till the ground, it shall no longer yield its strength to you. A fugitive and a vagabond you shall be on the earth. So he passes sentence on Cain, and he says, you're done farming. You're going to be a fugitive. You're going to be on the run. So, and that's when he says that the ground will no longer yield its strength to you. His living is gone, and now he's on the run. And Cain said to the Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear. He just had his livelihood taken from him. Well, he got rid of his livelihood by what he did. Surely you have driven me out this day from the face of the ground. I shall not be hidden from your face. There's no more hiding. I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond on the earth, and it will happen that anyone who finds me will kill me. So now, not only has he lost his livelihood, but now he is paranoid that someone's going to kill him. I mean, he killed his brother, and now he assumes that God's judgment goes beyond that and that somebody will kill him. So now he's living in fear and probably anger. I know for me, fear always leads to anger when it's not dealt with. And the Lord said to him, therefore, whoever kills Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. So now we have the Lord's first act of law enforcement against a man who murdered his brother. The rule is still there, not to be murdered. Someone wants to have vengeance. They know that Cain did this. They have intention, revenge. He even tells these people, anybody who takes care of this, because everything is done my way and for my purposes, and I deal justly with people, that they will be. Just when you think about Moses and the Egyptian later on, even though Moses was going to do what he did, lead Israel out of Egypt at God's will, and they suffered 400 years, he still didn't have the right, even though this Egyptian was being cruel to his fellow Jews, to kill the man. And for that he did not see, when they finally arrived into the promised land, not heaven, the promised land here on earth, Jerusalem, that he would only see it from a distance. So there's always grave consequences for murder. So he put a mark on Cain, and it says, and the Lord set a mark on him, lest anyone finding him should kill him. So this is the first criminal record, if you will. And of course, when you talk about marks in the Bible, most people who know it think about the mark of the beast and how people are labeled for very specific reasons. Anytime we put people in prison, they have a record, or they have an orange suit, God forbid, like in the Holocaust when they would tattoo people. These people are marked So it's a warning, kind of like that tree in the garden. There's a warning about this man. Not only did he kill somebody, but you cannot kill him. So this is things to think about, how this all played out. I know I've thoroughly been thinking about it all week because I've read it a couple times, and so now we've entered into murder, jealousy, covetousness. I'm sure that Abel was coveting his brother's offering that pleased the Lord, and he lost his livelihood. Now he's a fugitive. We go on to learn that he is replaced, just as Judas was replaced with the 12 when he betrayed Christ. He was replaced with Matthias. Then Seth will be born to Adam and Eve to replace Abel, and this is just God's way. He doesn't leave it open. He doesn't leave a vacuum. He replaces him. But think about these things this week, and next week I'm not sure what we're going to do. Genesis has so much to it. I mean, it sets the foundation for everything that we understand until the second coming of Christ, and it builds on it. It'll be Noah will be next week. I'm just glancing here. Everything happens really quickly in the first few chapters of Genesis. So we'll talk about that next week, and you guys think about Cain and Abel this week and all the implications of that has brought on society, and how it builds on itself as we go along, as far as that chasm between us and God that Jesus is going to have to bridge. But you guys have a good week, and we'll talk to you later.